who responds. Why? Because the Prophet said that who he sits high must first greet. If you are driving, if you are in your car, you have to greet the pedestrian. If you are sitting high while people sitting low listening to you, you say Salamun Alaikum. If you are older by age, you say Salam to the younger. If you are senior in any position, you say Salamun Alaikum to those who are junior. So that that particular sense of being privileged or having any preference is totally discouraged. I remember having read that incident where Abdullah ibn Jaffer, the husband of Janabi Zainab, Salamullah alayha, Abdullah ibn Jaffer is known to be a very generous man. People used to flock to his house for assistance. Janabi Zainab's husband. And he's also Imam Ali Islam's nephew. He's son of Jaffer ibn Abi Talib. So people used to come, they used to tell each other, if you are in need, go to Abdullah ibn Jaffer. One day as he was passing, there was a person coming from the opposite direction who Abdullah ibn Jaffer had helped. Not once, but 2-3 times. So Abdullah ibn Jaffer expected that the man will greet, will bow down and say, Assalamu alaikum. He has received assistance 3 times. He is obliged. And just as he passed by, Abdullah ibn Jaffer observed that the man did not say even Salamun Alaikum. He just went by. So Abdullah really felt how ungrateful people are. When they need us, they come to us by day and by night. But when they have received the assistance, they forget. So Abdullah ibn Jaffer turned back and said, brother, Salamun Alaikum. And the fellow said, Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, Abdullah ibn Ja'far? So I said, Abdullah said, where were you? Didn't you observe as you just passed by? He said, I observed. And I saw it was Abdullah ibn Ja'far. But you know, I can never repay you for whatever you have done to me. There is no possibility, I don't see in this lifetime, to be able to pay you back, except I wanted to act according to the hadith of the Prophet, to allow you to earn 90% of reward by initiating the greeting so that I may answer. You may get the better part of it. So I decided that I will just pass by, allow you to say Salamun Alaikum. Your thawab may be higher, mine may be lower. You might feel for a few minutes that I have neglected you, but I have not. Well, this is a sort of thing which akhlaq and behavior which goes as our lesson to the princes who are getting married tonight. I don't know what the best men have told them, but we used to have best men, and we have acted as sometimes best men. But we know what we are told and what we tell. Normally we tell them how to match their tie with their suit, and so on. And of course about the customs that we will have to conduct ourselves with in this Imambara by shaking hands and congratulating each other, one after the other. And kiss the hands of one who reads the car, otherwise he will not. And so on. But what we are going to tell them is that tonight is the night upon which your destiny rests, your married life. Do not be carried away by a civilization which does not conform with Islam. Ostensibly it might be very attractive. It does not function. It does not work. The only civilization which works even today is that which has been approved by Islam. Do not go for outward things. When the Prophet said, tonight as you enter your room, keep your hand over the head of your bride and say, Oh Allah, I have accepted this lady as my wife according to your Sharia. And if you allow her to conceive by me, let there be children who are decent citizens, followers of Tawheed. And the same thing for the bride to say by placing her hand on the head of the groom. Same thing. So, Mullah Sahab, you want us to pray 2 rakat even tonight? Well, I'm sorry to say that many grooms were told that Namaz-e-Maghrib also was forgiven, because they are already in the suit. How can they do wuzu now? The bride will not pray Namaz-e-Maghrib because she's already in her sari. One has to understand that in Islam, every hour, every aspect of my life goes with religion, with Islam. We do not say that that which belongs to Caesar goes to Caesar, that which belongs to Christ or church belongs to church. No. In Islam, there is no dichotomy, my dear friends. We live our faith. We live our faith. So, when the bride prays tonight, inshallah, Maghrib and Isha, before she finally prepares her to go anywhere in the Imambad or whatever, and when the groom removes his suit to make a wudu and prays, then we demonstrate in practice that, Ya Allah, at all phases in my life, whether it be grief or sorrow, whether it be pleasure and joy, I do not forget you. My every aspect of living is associated with the final, ultimate existence. It's a philosophy which many might not be able to understand and assimilate, but it is a Muslim way of life. That is one thing. Second thing, be kind, because according to Islamic way of life, a woman who chooses to be your wife comes into your trust. You become a trustee. She is an amanat of her parents, whoever's daughter she may be, and she is placed in trust. So, for you to act as a guardian and for the bride to act as a decent ward so that life may continue, the bride has got to be told by the husband that you are going to your husband, by her father, they're going to your husband, and the groom to be told that you are receiving a trust which you will have to look after. In Nahjul Balagha, Mawla says, Innaha rayhanatun laysat biqaharmana. A woman is a flower, is not to be treated perforce. I can't imagine what sort of man is that man who can lift his hand to beat his wife. Can't imagine. What a beastly person that must be, who can catch the wife by the scruff and put her head into the basin, who can hit, who can blow, who can knock down a woman helpless. I can't understand. All this goes because of some illness in our morals and ethics, and because of that undue arrogance, pride, and self-conceit, where the spirit of forgiving and forgetting is lost totally. And then comes for the women, imbued by the teaching of this society, where a woman is told that you are free, therefore do whatever you like, forgetting that she was always free according to Islam. The freedom that has been now given is not a freedom to perpetuate your life. This freedom which is now being offered by this society is a freedom which allows you to create as much of friction as possible. Early in the morning, the wife rises, and so does the husband. Where are you going today? Oh dear, darling, don't ask me. I go my way, you go my way, your way. Finito. But don't ask. She comes back after midnight, husband cannot speak. This sort of independence and this sort of freedom may suit many others. It cannot suit a family which is running Islamically, where the philosophy of marriage was, as Fatima Zahra salamullah alayha said. And this is something which we may always ponder over, as to if it was only to procreate, to reproduce, then even man could have reproduced like animals. I mean, there was nothing which could have stopped. If it was only continuation of my progeny, only bringing children into this world, then one could have done even the way the animals do it. Why? Allah said that do it, you will have to do it. It's a natural thing. Allah wants it, that there be procreation. But do it the way I tell you. Why? Why nikah? Otherwise, there could have been anything to reproduce. Fatima salamullah alayha says that by laying down certain rules of nikah, Allah has described and determined the right of both man and woman living as a common bond on earth as long as they live. One thing. Second thing, that the procreation is truly and fairly and honestly associated to a particular couple, that you may not be able to say tomorrow, we don't know whose son you are and whose daughter you are. In order to give that protection to the purity of your progeny, there has got to be understood one thing, that man and woman live together in nikah, so that the children born can be said. It's not like what he said, al-waladu lil-firash walil-ahir al-hajar. Prophet said, al-walad lil-firash. The procreation of children is determined by the bridal bed, where the children are conceived, not by the stones where the illegitimate children are born. Try to understand. So a woman who goes away and the husband has no right to ask whether astaghfirullah rabbi wa atubu ilayh, she has remained chaste or not, whether she has not moved about with other men or not. He cannot ask. You are expecting man to be so liberal. This is freedom. If this is freedom, then this freedom is exactly the freedom of donkeys and monkeys. In man and in a Muslim society, this does not happen. But the freedom in many aspects is still there for a woman. If I were to enlarge upon it, maybe there will be an uproar. But I can tell you, because I do sit sometimes on matrimonial committees, no one has right to come and tell me, Mullah Sahab, I want to divorce my wife because she does not give me a cup of tea in the morning. That has not been written anywhere. But whenever I say this, people start shouting, say, we will now miss our morning cup of tea from tomorrow because you have given them this freedom. It's not so. What they forget is that when a wife in the morning comes and gives you a cup of tea to say, here is it, Salamun alaikum, that is how the family runs. On the basis of akhlaq, family runs. When she does it out of her love and affection for you, as a father to her children and as her husband. The same way, if you can reciprocate one day, go down in the kitchen and make a cup of tea for your wife. Have you ever thought of that? Go and make a cup of tea for your wife and say, Begum Sahiba, here it is. Then you will know, Alal Maharil Ma'loom, which we will read just now. And I can assure them that whatever we will read is going to be, inshallah, to their benefit. May Allah keep them happy. And inshallah, these marriages, both of them, will be such which will keep all the families, inshallah ta'ala, happy and make the couple prosperous, capable of leading an Islamic way of life. Grant them long lives and give them the wisdom of not practicing family planning immediately, so that the hadith of the Prophet is completed Tanakahu, tanasalu, takfuru. Marry by all means. Procreate and multiply. فَإِنِّي أُبَاهِي بِكُمُ الْأُمَمِ. I shall be proud on the day of judgment that I have so many followers. وَلَوْ بِالسِّقْطِ. Even if I have to count miscarriages. So, inshallah ta'ala, there will be an increase in the ummah. And for the families involved, I don't have time to say, but they are the families to whom I would have liked to say only one thing, that your services to this community and your families and your elders and their services to this community are known. There is no time to dwell upon them. But may Allah reward your families with the services they are rendering now and with services they have rendered in the past. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.